Now the reason we're all here, the reason why 150, 100,000, 175,000 people, we all gather every year for 26 years. It takes a very special person, someone of historical strength and charisma and drive, and someone who we all know has been an inspiration to us over these many years, just to see there's nothing that Governor Schwarzenegger cannot do. He sets his mind to it, and it happens over and over and over again. Probably one of the most remarkable people, and I would say my hero and the most remarkable person I have the honor of having as a friend of over 30 years, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Thank you very much, Bob. I think we have to figure out another medal or something so we can give it to you. You deserve it. You're doing extraordinary work. I first want to say just everyone has been introduced except one man, which is here, Joe Manganiello, who is a great, great actor, True Blood television series, and also with me in The Sabotage, which is a movie that's coming out very soon, and I know all of you have already a ticket to go and see it. Joe, you want to stand up? Just give a big hand to Joe Manganiello. And I want to say congratulations to all of you. You've done a great job, and Danny, I mean, I just have to say that it's really extraordinary, not only as a wrestler, obviously we know that the great history of you, but I mean, what you've done just this very recently with the wrestling sport. I mean, you know, when something gets kicked out of the Olympics, I mean, he made it sound like, okay, I got a bunch of people together and I woke up the wrestlers and then we got back in again in the Olympics. That's not the way it works. Okay, the Olympics gets very tough to get any sport in, and especially a sport that they voted out. To get it reinstated and to get it brought back in is an enormous feat. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of talent, and great leadership, and you had that. And you brought the sport back, so congratulations, because I could never. I mean, I don't get it sometimes with the Olympics, because, I mean, you watch the Winter Olympics and they have the same sport over and over and over. I mean, how many times can you see snowboarding? And there's two, they're snowboarding together, then they're snowboarding over a jump, and then they do another jump, then there's a different medal for another jump when they do that. So it goes on, and then they take wrestling, the original Greek and Roman, I mean, sport, I mean, the thing that was in the original Olympics, that's what they took out. So, I mean, it must be, there must be something loose up there with some of those guys. But, I mean, but anyway, so that's besides the point. You know, Lee, I just want to say that you deserve this medal, because you have always been a great champion, and even though I hated you for a night, when you beat my record, you know, I had 7 Mr. Olympias, and then all of a sudden he had to get 8. I mean, what is the matter with you? Is no respect for the elders or something like that? But anyway, so you know, but because you're one of those guys also, just like Danny, that continues on. You're not finished when you're finished with your competing. You continue on working for the sport and promoting fitness. And I know with your after-school programs and all the stuff that you're doing down in Atlanta, I mean, it's really great, great work. And I also love Danny always, I mean, Lee always came kind of like dressed like a champion. I mean, look at him, dressed like a champion, because I do hate when bodybuilders run around in their gym outfits on the street and when they go out and stuff like that. I just think it looks like so low foreheadish, and I just despise it. I think people should be dressed up. They should have a nice jacket, nice slacks and all this stuff, and this is the way he's dressed, and I like that, you know. And you know, you know what I'm talking about. You're always nicely dressed. I mean, I tell you one thing, that if Mark can find a suit and a jacket, then we know that anyone can find a suit and a jacket. There's no two ways about that. But anyway, so I just want to go down the line. Thank you also for the great work that you've done, and you really were a breakthrough as a woman. Now, of course, there's a lot of girls that are doing the sport and martial arts and all this kind of, you know, cage fighting and UFC and whatever else, boxing. And but you were one of the first ones that really break through with that. And the Stacey, you know, I'm a big fan of yours. And I think what Bob said about, you know, your stunts and all of these things, I was one of them that was very skeptical when I've read I said, Jason is doing his own stunts. I said, yeah, right, And then I was very fortunate to go and be on a set, and do Expendables. Expendables 1, Expendables 2, Expendables 3. And all of a sudden I saw him in action. And I said to myself, I just couldn't believe it. Because this guy, there was no stunt guy there doubling him. There was him there doing all of the action. And it was so fast and so furious and so powerful and so believable, everything. So congratulations, you are a great athlete and of course an extraordinary actor. And you have a huge career in front of you, and you're going up like, skyrocketing as it is already. Of course, you have my nephew doing your legal work, so that also helps. It also works. The Schwarzenegger blood is invested in this here. So congratulations. Give him a big hand also. Very great work that he's doing. Yeah. And Betty Weeder, I just want to say one brief thing here, and that is, she is very humble. And she says, it was so wonderful to marry into the Weeder family and blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you something. I have seen it firsthand. Joe Weeder got to a certain place. And it was a powerful place. And he did extraordinary work to make bodybuilding popular and to publish all those magazines and to promote it around the world. And so was with Ben Weeder creating the federation and getting it in all those different countries and so on. But when Betty Weeder came into the game, and she convinced Joe to have the Shape magazine and to put more women's stuff into the magazine, that is when the business really took off. Because there was a whole other half, the women, that were totally kind of disregarded at that time. Just like in martial arts and in other sports, there was nothing around about women. There was a few in Gold's gym training, but they were considered art kind of women. But then Betty came in and she convinced Joe to have training programs, to have pictures, inspirational articles, to find the women out there and to put them in a magazine, to actually create a magazine for women. And that's when things changed. And I was also there when she gave him advice about what kind of photographs should be taken on the beach to make it more for the general public, because Betty's thing was always, Joe, you're doing everything for the hardcore bodybuilder that wants to lift 500 pounds, but what about the guy that just wants to get in shape? And Joe said, all right, Betty. All right, Betty. I don't know what's wrong with her. Always complaining. All those women. Oh, God. But anyway, so this was Joe complaining. But on the end, Joe did it. And it opened up the magazine, and it was part of, the Weeders, you should know, we have been fighting for many, many decades a fitness crusade. To go out there and to tell the world to train and to exercise, to lift weights, to do fitness activities and all this. And the Weeders, without any doubt, were a huge contribution to this fitness crusade. And that's why we have come as far as we have come. But Betty was right there as part of the leadership in the Weeder Corporation to make the magazine move up and up and up and to spread the fitness crusade and to make it successful. So Betty, I just want to say thank you very much for all the work that you've done. And I loved posing with you on the beach. That was always my favorite. When Joe called me and he said, oh, I'm going to bring Betty and we're going to do some shots on the beach. I said to myself, this is going to be great. I'm going to hold her. And my bicep, may I remind you, was exactly 1 inch bigger than Betty's waist. Remember that? Her waist was this tiny. And everything else was just really well developed. I mean, we don't want to get into details, but the bottom line was it was a fun day. She made it fun and everything, and it was great always. We have done many cover shots together. So anyway, congratulations for the great work that you've been doing. Big hand to Betty Weeder. And of course, the whole front row here, they're all my heroes. I mean, from Bruno Sammartino. I've watched him wrestling for so many years, and when he was the big champion, and when he was throwing people around, and he was the only one that could really lift up guys that were 400-pound heavy over his head. I mean, imagine that, and throwing them down. So I want to say thank you to all of you for your great contributions that you have made. And Bob, thank you for the great work that you're doing here. And like I said, we're going to create a medal for you because you have been, no, but really, come here. I really mean it, that it was really everything that I've done. This man here was an enthusiastic supporter. If it was with the President's Council on Fitness and it was the chairman, he was helping. When we did our events here every year in Columbus, he was there supporting us. And drug testing, bodybuilding, he was there to help us. With the magazines, to write articles, interesting articles from a doctor's point of view. He helped us. I mean, every step of the way, he was just really fantastic. And now again, with the environmental issues and with all the other stuff, getting our Arnold's Classic event to Asia, you're there to help us. So thank you very much for the great contributions
You're the
that
boss.
you make. No, yeah, I'm not the boss.
You say I do.
No, yeah, right. And here's also the real deal. This guy, what was your record in push-ups?
I had like 20 world records. Push-ups, not that many. Sit-ups, 13,500.
I said, how many push-ups did you do?
Oh, that time? 321 handstand
Okay,
push-ups.
3 handstand push-ups.
Yeah, you
Not
saw.
regular push-ups.
Regular push-ups too easy.
No, I'm asking you for the people because they don't know you. Of
the
course
most-
I know, but I mean...
no, push-ups not a lot, just a few thousand or so.
A few thousand push-ups.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
not a
so in any case, whatever it is, he's the real deal. He's really fit, he's strong, and he really can do things that you and I cannot do. So that's for sure. So anyway, congratulations
Governor.
and keep up the good work. Okay, thank you. Give a big hand to Bob.
Guys, let's put a group shot, everybody up. We always do this as part of our tradition. We have a team shot together. This is our class shot. And now we do the fist pump thing. All right, all the MMA guys here.